In today's video, we have the Galaxy A56 versus the Galaxy A26, a $500 phone versus a $300 phone. Stay tuned. Alright everyone, hopefully guys are having a good day. Hopefully everyone is safe out there. This has been, of course, a long-awaited video for a lot of you. We have the Galaxy A56, a $499 device on the left side, and of course the $300 Galaxy A26 on the right side. In this video, I'm going to be comparing the differences between both these devices and telling you which one is a more justified purchase. First thing we're going to go ahead and start off with, of course, is going to be the design of both of these devices. And of course, we have some similarities between both these devices, and of course that's going to be the camera lens or the camera island that we have in the back of these devices. However, I do think the Galaxy A56 looks a lot better than this device, especially the black on this just really doesn't look good when it smudges and all of that, so definitely wear a case if you're getting the black device for the Galaxy A26. The weird thing is the Galaxy A26 is going to be a little bit heavier at 200 grams compared to 198 grams on the Galaxy A56. However, the Galaxy A56 is going to feel much more premium, and that's going to be due to the glass back and of course the aluminum frame on this that looks stunning. Looks beautiful, absolutely love this. And the Galaxy A26, we're going to have a plastic frame. We are going to have that glass back, but the A56, of course, is the more stunning, beautiful, and more premium design. So that's definitely something you're going to be paying $200 more for. Both these devices have an IP67 water and dust resistance design. As far as our fingerprint experience, the Galaxy A26 is going to have a side-mounted fingerprint sensor right here, as you guys can see. And the Galaxy A56 is going to have that in-display optical fingerprint sensor. So that's going to be the biggest differences as far as biometrics. As far as the colors that we have on both these devices, the Galaxy A56 is going to come in pink. I know this doesn't look crazy pink right now, but it is actually pink in real life. And yeah, the camera's not doing it justice. It looks really nice. One of the nicest colors I've had on an A series device. This also comes in olive, this comes in graphite, and this comes in light gray as well. On the Galaxy A26, we do have 4 colors as well. We have black, which we have right here. We have white, we have mint, and we have peach pink. So we kind of have our own lineup of colors on each devices. It's up to you which one looks better. Both devices are going to have 6.7-inch displays. Both are going to be a full HD. The PPI is actually going to be a little bit higher on the Galaxy A26 though, at 393 PPI compared to 385 PPI we get on the Galaxy A56. Both devices are going to have a 120 Hz refresh rate, but of course, as you guys can see, the screen to body ratio is going to be much better on the Galaxy A56 compared to the A26. That bottom bezel is so thick, and of course we get the hole punch camera in the A56 compared to the Galaxy A26 with that teardrop notch. So we're going to have slimmer bezels on the A56 at about 88% screen to body ratio, and the A26 is going to have an 85% screen to body ratio. So we have 3% more screen real estate on the A56. As far as our peak brightness, however, the Galaxy A56 is going to have a peak brightness of 1900 nits, and the Galaxy A26 is going to have a peak brightness of 1200 nits. So of course the Galaxy A56 is going to be much more sunproof or easier to see in the sun than the Galaxy A26. Now, as far as the system chips in these devices, of course, the Galaxy A56, this is going to be one of the biggest differences between the A26. The A56 is going to have the Samsung Exynos 1580, and the Galaxy A26 is going to have the Exynos 1380. So a much more powerful processor in the Galaxy A56. We're going to have less glitch ups. We're going to have less windows closing or tripping out. We're going to have better, of course, gameplay on this device. So if you guys are gamers, you may want to get the A56 over the Galaxy A26. And just overall better experience and more powerful experience. We're also going to have 8 gigabytes of RAM in this device compared to the A26 where we only get 6 gigabytes of RAM. And as far as the base storage, both devices are going to have 128 gigabytes of internal storage. The Galaxy A56 is not going to be expandable as far as the memory goes, but the Galaxy A26 is actually going to give you a terabyte of expandable memory. So if you guys want to pop an SD card inside of the A26, you guys can go ahead and do that. That's a very, very big pro about the A26. Of course, both released with Android 15 7.0, so we have the latest software on both these devices, and we have, I believe, like 5 or 6 years for operating system updates on these devices each. So we have a very, very decent software policy from Samsung. That's one of the nicest thing about Samsung devices. Both devices have a 5,000 milliamp battery. Both have fast charging. As far as the charging goes, the Galaxy A56 is going to be able to charge at a rate of 45 watts, and the A26 is only going to be able to charge at 25 watts for wired. So definitely a lot slower than the Galaxy A56. And as far as the battery life, I was very, very surprised about this. The Galaxy A56 is going to have a longer battery life at just over 7 hours compared to the Galaxy A26 has about 5 hours of battery life. So definitely a much better battery life on the Galaxy A56, and that may be due in part to the processor inside of here being a little bit more optimized for that. Getting into the cameras on these devices, the Galaxy A56 has a triple camera setup, and so does the A26. As far as the Galaxy A56 goes, we have a 50 megapixel PDAF camera. That's going to be our wide angle camera. Our secondary is going to be our 12 megapixel ultra wide, and our third is going to be our 5 megapixel macro. Going over to the Galaxy A26, we're going to have a 50 megapixel wide angle camera as well on the rear facing camera. Our secondary is going to be an 8 megapixel ultra wide, and our third is going to be a 2 megapixel macro. However, both are capable of recording at 4K 30 frames per second. As far as the front facing cameras on both these devices, the Galaxy A56 is going to have a 12 megapixel camera, and the Galaxy A26 is going to have a 13 megapixel camera. However, the A26 is not capable of recording at 4K 30 frames per second from that front facing camera. And as far as the quality we're going to be getting out of both these devices, I feel like the Galaxy A56 and the A26 are very matched in their specific areas. The Galaxy A56 is going to be better at rear-facing photo shoots or photo shots, and the Galaxy A26, for whatever reason, is going to be much, much better with the selfie camera. Alright everyone, so this is UHD 30 frames per second. We can't go up to 60 on the Galaxy A26, but this is how we are looking so far. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Stabilization doesn't look too bad so far. I know with the Galaxy A56 it was stuttering. It was acting weird. It was being a little bit jumpy. Stabilization was actually doing better on that phone at 60 FPS, so super weird. But let me know what you guys think about this. Now we have a rear facing camera, UHD, so 4K 30 frames per second, and this is how everything is looking so far. Not too bad. I'm hoping the stabilization looks good in post, but let me know what you guys think. Alright everyone, so we have full HD 30 frames per second on the Galaxy A56. We are in the bright California sun right now, and this is how this is looking currently. Let me know what you guys think. This definitely looks very solid. I was looking at the Motorola Edge 2025 edition right now, and we're gonna put those phones head to head, but this is looking better. This is looking a lot better for some reason. I think it's a software issue though, so yeah, looking good so far. All right everyone, so this is the front facing camera on the Galaxy A26, full HD 30 frames per second, and this is how we're looking. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Now let me know in the comment section down below, but it just looks like the Galaxy A26 has much better contrast and colors and deeper blacks. Especially you can see it in my beard, like the Galaxy A26 just looks better as far as the front-facing camera goes. But overall, I feel like these are both very, very matched cameras. On the rear-facing camera, we're probably going to be getting a little bit more color and a little bit more brightness through the Galaxy A56 overall. But they both have their pros and cons. I think the biggest gripe out of both these devices is 1080p 30 frames per second and 4K 30 frames per second stutter. They stutter, they judder, they do this weird thing where they kind of jumping. And I thought that Samsung would have figured that out by now, which is super weird that they haven't. And of course, the sensors inside of here, the Galaxy A56 is going to have Sony sensors, and the Galaxy A26 is going to have an in-house sensor. I believe it's the Samsung JN1 sensor inside this device. So let me know what you guys think about these photos and videos down below. But yeah, guys, that was my comparison of the Galaxy A56 and the Galaxy A26. Those were all of the differences and the pros and cons on both of these devices. Let me know in the comments down below which device you would want over the other and why. I definitely would like to know. I would say I don't take a lot of photos and videos, to be quite honest. That's not something I really tend to do. So the device with more of the power and the less glitches is always going to be my favorite. So I would go with the Galaxy A56. However, if you want a device that's all around very, very, very decent and very solid, I would say the Galaxy A26 is probably going to get you a little bit more bang for buck. But if you guys are needing a more premium build, a better processor, a better battery life, then the A56 may be the phone for you.